Hey guys, this is Ed, Paul, and Anna of Current Media, and we are here to tell you a little bit more about our sponsor.
Sportsball is a great subscription service geared towards minor league baseball fans. Each box features a different minor league team.
You get a box every 3 months with minor league baseball gear, including different styles of hats like Ed's favorite, the dad hat. The cost is less than $12 a month.
Proceeds from each box goes to More Than Baseball, the only nonprofit dedicated to the well-being of minor league baseball players.
We all know that Parents' Days are coming up this summer, so if you've got a mom or a dad or a grandma or a grandpa who are particularly difficult to buy for, but you know they're baseball fans, this is the answer, guys.
Meet your new favorite team at sportsballbox.com.
Is there anybody
What's up, guys? Ed here from the Collector's Corner, where I sit down and I talk to various collectors and how they got started collecting. On this episode, we have Kelly and Christina. They are a couple who collect snow globes, flags, and hats, and all the other knickknacks that you can think of. They have a very large collection. This was a lot of fun, so sit back and enjoy. All right. I want to welcome you guys to the the second episode of the Collector's Corner. My name is Ed from the Dad Hat Chronicles. And then with me today, I have Kelly and Christina. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
Yep, pretty good.
Oh, you know me, I'm hanging out, living the dream.
Yep.
I want to thank you guys because we met a couple of weeks ago. Has it been, where were you? A couple of weeks or
Almost a month ago.
Oh my God. Right. That's right. We went to Lake Erie Crushers game together. So that was a lot of fun. And then you guys were actually the first, people besides my wife I told you guys about my podcast. And then you guys were like, yep, we'll be there. So I'm like, yes. So first, thank you.
Yeah. Glad to do it.
All righty. So I wanna start by asking you guys, like, what got you guys interested in sports, right? Like, what was that moment that you guys were like, yep, I'm gonna love sports?
Well, for me, it was not until I was in college, and my boyfriend at the time was a diehard Red Sox fan. So he's like, I love the Red Sox. He watched them all the time. He loved going to games. And I was like, yeah, I'll
go. Sure.
game. Yeah, that sounds fun. And I got really into it. And I think I am now a bigger baseball fan than he ever was.
There you go. And that is a good thing because he's a Red Sox fan.
Exactly.
So awesome. What about you, Kelly?
For me, I went to my first White Sox game when I was 3.
Wow.
So my dad I unfortunately don't know the exact date.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest game I can go back to that I know for sure 100% was 1980. So I was 3 in 1976. And then I started playing T-ball. I ended up playing baseball for, I think it was 8 seasons, 8 years. I played 1 year of football. Didn't like it.
Too much. It was just too much hitting.
I was in one tackle and it's like, yeah, this isn't for me.
This is not my sport at all.
Yeah, no. So it's always been baseball. I liked soccer. I played it. Though I never actually joined an actual team, just played, my brother and friends in the neighborhood. Same with like football and baseball. We had we did all our own little leagues and besides, playing little league. So yeah, so probably, since I was 6 years old.
Gotcha. The first time I played football, was a couple of years ago. This is pre-pandemic, and I played goalie. That was the very first time. First and last time. I completely suck at it.
Yeah.
Listen, I love the sport. I think it's a great sport. I mean, the conditioning is great, but I completely suck. I'm not good.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to be a goalie when I play goalie as a kid, but I just thought about it and like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. I'll take my falls off because there's fall and spring.
Right.
I also really like hockey, but I can't skate at all.
Yeah, I'm with you. I skated once, and then that's all I needed. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know,
I tried it once and it didn't go well.
roller hockey I'll do. You know, I used to do that. That was when it was used to be cool, right? I don't think anybody really does rollerblading anymore.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I rollerbladed in elementary school.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think it was in high school the last time I skated, and because I really wanted to be part of the Mighty Ducks, and this is when the Mighty Ducks came out and all that.
Right.
Other than that, I was like, yep, you know, there's too many falls, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So I'm gonna start with Christina. What was that moment when you started collecting? What was your first item that you started collecting?
So, do we want to talk about my mascots or my snow globes?
You know what? You tell me. This is your moment.
Well, I'll talk about my mascots.
All right.
You know, we're talking about sports. My snow globes are more general travel.
Okay.
So this is Colonel Corn Puff.
Oh my God. Look at
He's
that.
a little frog. He's not an official mascot. I mean, he is official with the team. You can see he has his Colonel's logo on him.
Oh, look at that from the Cedar Rapids Colonels.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I love frogs, and I saw there was a little frog wearing a Colonel's t-shirt.
That's
and I was
amazing.
Like, oh, I want the frog. So he was the first mascot I got.
On our first road trip, second minor league game we ever saw together.
Wait a second, hold on. This was on your very first road trip together that you guys took. This one was your very first. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So see, now you definitely got to keep that forever now.
Yes, of course. That's why he's hanging out with us today.
Love it. I mean, the color and everything, I think it's awesome. Now, did you only get just that one at the Colonel's game, or is that, you know?
On that road trip, I think he was the only one I got because I wasn't really like, oh, I need to get all the mascots. It was, I want to say like a year or two later that
I think it was 09 because that was 07. I think it was 09 was the first time.
Yeah.
That's when you really decided on like, I'm collecting all of the mascots.
Yeah. Like, you know, I think it was in Modesto. So they're the Modesto nuts. So they have Al the almond and Wally the walnut. And we went to 2 games there, and it was April, so there was really small crowds. And we had a lot of interactions with the mascots. And it was so much fun. So I was like, oh, I need to get a plush mascot to take home to remind me of
that's awesome.
Of the time. And then on that trip, I probably came home with like 4 mascots.
Now, let me ask you this, because obviously with flying, that takes a lot of money, you know, to send, you know, so like, did you have to buy your own suitcase for all your plush animals?
No, they squeeze down and can go into your carry-on bag. And although we did get a mascot that had one that like had long arms.
Oh my God.
And there was a typo on the tag. So it said it was an ascot.
That's awesome.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, so I have to wear it around my neck. So I wore it around my neck to board the plane.
That's amazing. I love the typo. I think the typo makes the mascot even cooler.
Yeah, it's an ascot mascot.
Ascot, right? Exactly. Awesome. All right. So, Kelly, what about you?
Probably the first thing ever started collecting would have been baseball and football cards way back when, which I still have all my baseball cards. I sold my football cards. So, you know, I've got some, my sister gave me her collection, which start 1974 or 75. And then I kind of collected up until probably the early 90s, but it got to the point where instead of buying the packs, I would just buy the Topps year end where they, you know, all
the whole big box
cards. Yeah. It started off, my mom would get me those as, you know, for a Christmas present. And then it just kind of kept going from there. And then years later, I still bought some more. I think about still doing it, but it's like they take up a lot of space.
That's a lot. Yeah. I mean, it is. Then they're not like a small thing, right? Like,
no,
it's just like those big boxes. And if you put them in binders after that, separately, it's just, you know, you're going to need a whole room just for that alone.
Yeah. So that was definitely my first collection. and not one, like I said, that I continued on, but
Mhm.
also as a kid, I started collecting coins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I haven't, since we moved into our house almost 3 years now.
Mhm.
I haven't really touched them yet because they're kind of still in storage. But yeah, I still not fully actively, but still do collect coins every now and then,
Now you guys
mostly
are
from trips.
no, is it because you're just running out of room? Don't know where to put the coins yet.
Right, exactly.
Hey, listen, I understand. I'm relegated to the basement right now. That's what it is. My wife, I told her, I was like, listen, when we move, I'm gonna need, maybe a room or two for all of my collections. So I understand.
Mhm.
We fortunately have our own offices upstairs that we have. Mine still needs to be renovated, so that's part of the reason why a lot of the stuff hasn't been unpacked yet.
Yeah, a lot of it's still in boxes.
Yeah, so hoping this fall it'll be renovated and then I can full on display.
Mhm.
Do a full on display. Now we definitely gonna have to get a video of it because I definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Now, I you say baseball cards, and I remember, I never collected baseball cards. My brother did. My younger brother did, and he's probably going to listen to this podcast and he's going to be like, I forgot you said this. But I remember one time, and this is where we were in Puerto Rico. I was not a collector then, but I had this friend who wanted to exchange some like, pencils and pens. And I was like, I don't have anything to trade. He's like, yeah, do you have like baseball cards? And I'm like, you know what? I do.
Oh,
I didn't. So I snuck
no.
into, his closet and then took like a handful. I didn't think twice about it, right? Oh my God, did I get whooped?
Oh man.
Yeah, because he found out, and then I didn't say anything at first, but obviously they knew it was me. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I had to go back, return all the pens, return all the pencils, and then get the cards back because I got so much in trouble. I don't think he got the full, amount of cards back, to be honest with you.
Right.
Oh.
But whoopsie.
My mom's mother threw away her baseball cards, which were from the 50s and 60s.
Those would have been worth some money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know why or when, but yeah.
Oh man. All right. So you guys started collecting now. Tell how'd you guys meet? Because obviously, you guys had started collecting and all that separately. So what was, how'd you guys meet, and what got you guys started in the whole path of collection?
So we met in April of 2006.
Mhm. The short version is
I needed a place to live.
Got it.
Her roommate was a friend of mine who I had met online through the old social network LiveJournal.
Wow.
He and I became friends in 2005 through a White Sox group. And I had a relationship end in early 2005, and then a friend of mine ended up moving in to I had lived on a second floor of a three flat 2-bedroom place, and I was looking for someone to move into my place, and so I asked our mutual friend Sean, and he was like, "Oh, this was like on a Friday or Thursday actually," and I'm like, you know anyone looking for a place to live? And he's like, "Oh, if you had said something earlier, I needed a roommate
because we had someone lined up, end up falling through, and then he ended up moving in."
Yeah. So Sean and I went to opening day in 2006, which was actually against Cleveland. It was the game CC Sabathia hurt himself because he gained a lot of weight in the off season.
Yeah, he did.
And there was a long rain delay, and so Sean and I actually hung out. And then I think it was the next day, Monday, he's like, the guy who was supposed to move in fell through. And so I went that Tuesday, looked at it, and it was just a room in which was really technically a 2-bedroom apartment.
I was living in the den.
She was a flight attendant, so she didn't need a lot of space.
Yeah.
Or when she moved in,
when I moved in, I was a flight attendant.
Got it.
And so we ended up finding out later. So I decided to take the place because my friend who was living with me isn't really a city guy, so he's more of a suburban guy. So he moved back to the suburbs, And it's like, I'm not going to the suburbs. And so I moved in there. And our friend Sean, his whole ulterior motive to this was to get us together.
Worked out.
So he had just started dating someone about a year before. And so he spent a lot of time with her at her place, and his plan worked. And he was actually the person who married us when we got married.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So he set it up and, you know, put the plan in motion and then married you guys.
Then married us. Yep.
That, you know what? That's awesome. It was meant to be.
We got married outside of then named U.S. Cellular Field.
Really?
Yeah, right out in front.
Yeah.
No,
We had a kind
that's
of a
cool.
little stealth wedding because we weren't going to pay however much they were charging to have a formal wedding, but there were only like a dozen people. So
Down with the man. Do it. Absolutely.
The awesome thing is we were going to do it right in front of the World Series monument, but it was we actually got married on Leap Day in 2012. And so we experienced every season that day, all 4 seasons in one day. Because at the end of the night it snowed. But it was so windy we couldn't do it. So we had to go around a corner to stay out, to get out of the wind. And while we were doing the ceremony, the White Sox season tickets were already on sale. And so one of the vendor or the booth
at the ticket booth
was like, you know, tapped on the window and he's like, hey, when you're done, go and get a picture with the trophy. Like, sure, we'll do that. And so we went in, and you know, it's the main entrance to the offices.
Yeah.
And the media entrance, the World Series trophies right there in a trophy case.
Like, we just got married out in front. Can we get a picture with the trophy? And the woman's like, yeah, sure. So we're taking pictures. They have old Comiskey Park seats right there as well. So we took pictures on there. And as we're taking pictures, a woman walks up with a handful of keys and she's like, you want to go out on the field?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to go out on the warning track.
Yeah. She's like, you know, you can't go on the grass, but you can stay on the warning track. So everyone in our party, which is my immediate family, her mom, and one of my aunts, we all got to go out. And so we're like, got to look and like told, you know, like, this is great. We're like showing my aunt and her mom where our season tickets are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not a bad surprise. And then even better is, well, not even better, but also awesome, we end up getting an upgrade on our hotel for the night.
Man.
Like, oh, you just got married? We'll give you a suite.
A corner suite.
Awesome.
That is awesome. That is one of the coolest stories I've ever heard. That's amazing. That you guys, like George, like, yeah, we're just going to do it right here in the corner. Ended up working out because you was able to get on the field.
Yeah.
It was great. And then we had a vintage baseball themed
reception
2 days later.
Man. And of course it's Chicago, right? So it's like you said, every season, like here in Cleveland, you know, if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes. You'll get a different one in a sec, you know.
Exactly.
No time.
Exactly.
That, I mean, wow, that's awesome. That's a story you guys got to write, you know, down. Cause like, I mean, you just, you know, you tell somebody it's like that happened, like, nah, that didn't happen. You know,
we have the pictures to prove it.
That's right. I love it. All right. So you told me about the first stuffed animal. You also have globes, you said, right?
I also have snow globes. Yes.
All right. What was your first one?
That was New York City.
Nice.
And if you look really closely, you can see the Twin Towers.
Yeah, I see that. The Twin Towers are right there. Yeah.
I got this on a trip. I went to New York City with my mom and my brother in June of 2001. And at some point on the trip, I made the comments, I love this city so much. I wish I could take it home with me in the palm of my hand.
No way.
Yeah. And my brother's like, well, why don't you get a snow globe?
That's awesome.
And so I bought the snow globe. I also bought snow globes for my two best friends back at home as souvenirs. But the city skyline snow globe was my first.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I've been collecting ever since. Whenever we visit a new city or country or state.
Now, did you have one from Cleveland? Come on, I know you have one.
I don't know if I have a Cleveland. I have a Cedar Point.
We're gonna have to rectify that if that's the problem.
gonna
Cedar
have-
Point, well, Cedar Point, Sandusky, so that's Ohio.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
I don't
forgive
think I
you.
have
Well,
Cleveland.
we're gonna have to fix that because you need a Cleveland one. You already been
Mhm.
here, obviously.
Do they
Yeah.
have them in Cleveland? Because Milwaukee doesn't have them.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
We were in Milwaukee a couple weeks ago,
Home of
and
Harley Davidson? They don't even have anything like that.
I don't know, maybe Harley Davidson had a Harley Davidson snow globe, but we've searched. We went
Wow.
to a tourist shop, and he actually said, the proprietor of the shop actually told us that he gets requests every now and then, and he's looked, and he couldn't find a Milwaukee snow globe that he could order.
Wow.
So he'd either have to produce it himself or
Find somebody that does. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she has
Interesting.
Wisconsin and like other areas of Wisconsin, but nothing that's just Milwaukee.
Mhm.
Interesting. So no Cleveland. We can fix that. We can definitely take care of that. But no Milwaukee.
Yeah.
All right. If anybody is listening to this podcast that is from Milwaukee or knows anybody in Milwaukee that we can find a snow globe, let us know. We will find out. All right. So Kelly, now you have some of the baseball cards and you thought that you're gonna probably restart that again in the near future. You collect also hats, jerseys, right? And flags.
And bobbleheads
And oh, that's right, and bobbleheads.
and replica championship rings and replica mini stadiums.
Okay, so what don't you collect? I should be asking that part.
Frogs, that's what I do.
Frogs, because that's her.
There you go. Oh my God, you collect a lot of stuff, my man.
Yeah, I have too many interests.
My wife would kill me.
See, that's the problem with us.
The
is
two of
we're-
you.
We're enablers.
Yeah, exactly. You guys enable each other.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right. So tell me your first hat then.
So the obviously when I was a kid I had White Sox caps. I
Mhm.
actually have the one that I got from my sister, a snapback of the White Sox from the late 70s. I still have it.
Really? You still have your very first hat?
Well, it was hers that she ended up
Okay, so
giving
she
to me
gave it
at
to
some
you.
point. But yeah, I still have it. It's the late 70s. It's the dark blue with the SOX on the front.
I like that logo. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, that logo and jersey are
Yeah. I'm not listen, Cleveland fan here, right? But I was watching the game on Sunday because that is their Sunday uniform, right?
well actually that's the 83.
83. But
one. It's the same cap. It's just it's
yeah, that
The same
cap.
block print, but different
Yeah,
colors.
love it. Absolutely love it. Love it.
Mhm.
yeah,
They
but
should go back to it.
I think it's time for them to. Well, we don't want to get distracted. I think it's time to go for a different throwback. They need to do a different one because they've been doing this one for like
Way too
15
many years.
now. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so they need to do a new update on
Yes.
something different.
Yes. But so
Gotcha.
so I grew up as a baseball fan, but I, like many people, was not happy after '94 season got canned. So I kind of fell out of baseball, and actually that's when I got more into soccer, especially European soccer.
Mhm.
Major League Soccer started. We got an MLS team here, which I was a partial season ticket holder for the Fire for their first year.
Their logo sucks right now, by the way.
Yes, they're rebranded though.
Okay, so they did another rebrand of the
Yes,
rebrand.
Another rebrand. This time they actually used a firm here in Chicago, not one based out of New York City to do it.
Yeah, because that one they released, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It was not good.
When we're done here, look it up. It's much better.
All right, I will.
But so then I 03 is when I like to say I forgave baseball. And I started getting more into baseball. So the first White Sox cap I bought, say this era, was a snapback, just the current one.
With the socks going down the middle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I think I prefer fitted.
Mhm.
And so the first one I bought would have been the current sock fitted. And then that's when I decided, I'm going to collect all 30 teams. But being at that time, an American League fan, I ended up buying all the American League team caps, preferably their home caps.
Okay.
And then it was later so that was 03 when I made that decision, started the collection really in 04.
Okay.
And then I actually, many fans was like, I want to see all 30 stadiums. In 04 was my first time not going to non-White Sox or non-Chicago, really. Went to Miller Park. Didn't buy a cap then, ended up buying that later. But I had gotten in April of 04 the MVP 04 game for my PC. And that was when you could, you have your major league team, your AA team, and your AAA team. So I knew about the minors, but I didn't really follow the minors. And that's what really helped me get more into the minors. And then when 05 came out, they gave you a high A. So it's like,
oh man, now we're talking.
You got your major league team and 3 levels. Holy smokes. But
yeah, like here we go.
05 was the last year they had made that game. So I was still, up until a few years ago, so I was still playing the 05 version.
Wow, really?
Yeah. But then my PC crapped out and I don't have it anymore. So, but it was actually, I had, told my ex that, about wanting to see all 30 teams. She didn't grow up in a family that was into sports. So she wasn't really into it. She went to baseball, but it was mostly to drink. I actually preferred it when she didn't go because it was a much cheaper night. Because,
beer's expensive at major league parks.
Yeah, we're talking, 02, 03, 04. So it wasn't like now, then you could actually pay $4 for one beer. Now it's like 12.
Right.
But
you can't even get a shot for $4 anymore.
Yeah. But she was the one who's like, when I told her about the game and talking about it, and she's like, oh, so you probably now want to go and visit all the minor league stadiums too, don't you? And I thought about it and like, yeah, you're right, I do.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's a great idea. And
why didn't I think of that earlier?
The person who, hated baseball gave me a great idea. So it was November of 04 was when I planned my first road trip, which was in June of 05. And, just started the trip, had no idea what I was going to do and like, I think I'm going to buy the caps of every time I visit a team.
Yeah, I'll
buy their cap. And then maybe a jersey if they're, within the price
within
range.
Reason, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I should actually jump back. 04, she was from Western New York. So I went to a Buffalo Bisons game and which I had gone to. I lived in Buffalo for a year and a half, 99, 2000. I went to one Bisons game then. So that was my first minor league game. And then in August of 04, I went to a game and actually bought the then Bisons cap when they were Indians affiliate.
Yep.
Which
I remember that.
Which I have right here.
Yeah, look at that with the baseball, the swoop right there under the beat. That's a cool logo. Still love that logo.
Yeah. So that fell. So yeah, that was when I decided I'm going to start collecting baseball caps, and then it's just exploded from there.
Yeah, I know. Listen, it's an expensive hobby to have.
Yeah, especially now. I mean, back then it wasn't too bad because you could pay $20 for a cap.
Right.
25 for a fitted.
For a fit, right? For fitted. No, you see me. I got lucky because I decided to go a different route than most of you guys that I know. Is I went with the dad hats, was it adjustable, and then I can sometimes find them for like $12, $13, or if they're on sale or in clearance, right?
Yes.
So I'm pretty lucky when it comes to that. Although I do pay a lot though sometimes when it comes to shipping. Man, shipping is expensive nowadays.
Yes, it is.
All right, so tell me about because the reason I got to know you and when I met you, on Twitter is you also do flags.
Yes.
Tell me about that because that's cool. And also, please tell me you have a Puerto Rico flag.
I do not.
Oh my God. All right. So Christina doesn't have a glove from Cleveland, and then you don't have a Puerto Rico. Oh man, we're gonna have to fix this.
Yeah, we
we haven't been to Puerto Rico yet.
Yeah, we haven't been to Puerto Rico.
I'll forgive you.
But we live in a very Puerto Rican heavy neighborhood. So there's plenty of flags.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're everywhere.
I mean, we can look out our back window and
there's one over
across the street and then down the street and then up the street. So yeah, no,
next door.
That's one that's on the list.
Okay.
But the love of flags started when I was a kid. my parents in the early 80s bought an encyclopedia
Mhm.
collection.
Yep.
And which they end up getting rid of. I wish they had, because I would love it, even though, it's what, 30, 40 years, almost 40 years old. I'd still look at them. But they
That's awesome.
had, for each country, they had like, a little page or a little box that gave you just like, brief details. And one of the things in there was the flag. And that's really what started with the love of flags. And then my mom bought me a book. It was a little hardcover, small
Yeah.
book. It was a flag book of flags of the world. And then they did some, internal flags, like obviously they had the US state flags, they had the Canadian flags, the Australian state flags. I know I have that book still somewhere, but my dog at the time chewed it up because it was a hardcover book. So he chewed the heck out of both the front and back cover.
Mhm.
And so that's what started my interest in flags. And then the very first flag, so that's going to be your question, I ever bought was the Australian flag, which I bought at Pike's Place in Seattle in 1987.
Okay.
On a family trip. And the reason I chose that was because I always loved the Australian flag, because as a kid, I don't know if either of you ever knew the shoes Roos. They were shoes, they had a little pocket in the tongue, like a kangaroo.
Yeah.
So, they had the Australian flag on the tongue, and then there was a little pocket right behind. And then the box came with I think it had an Australian flag on the box as well.
That's cool.
So I just thought that was cool. And then, running around Pike's Place, I saw the flag. I'm like, oh my God, I got to buy that. So
boom.
Very first flag I ever bought.
Do you still have that very first flag?
Still have it. And it actually, anytime Australia is the flag of the day, that's the flag that's flying.
That's awesome. I love that.
It's kind of beat up, but
but you can't get rid of it though, because that's your first flag.
Yeah, it's good material. So
and now, because that's what we talked about this week, when we at the game, that there's different materials for flags, right? You got your cheap ones. I know I do have one of those, but then you also have those really good that are, they're very durable for outdoors and all of that.
Right. Yeah. Most of mine are more the cheap ones, just because they're a lot less expensive.
Yeah. Because man, that could, again, you're buying hats, you're buying jerseys, you're buying, everything in, to collect. So
yeah, thankfully bobbleheads I usually get free. So
yeah.
When it's like a bobblehead game or something like that. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. One of these days I want to make a bobblehead, because I think there are these websites where you can make a bobblehead of yourself.
Yes, you can.
We've seen those. We've looked into it once.
I mean, I think it'll be cool. Yeah, they are though.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be cool. I just want to, one of these days I'm going to make one for myself.
Yeah, we definitely have thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, during, do you guys also, like to do different things when you guys are in different places, right? You guys like to visit different areas that are not normal, touristy places, right?
Yes. I like to say that we are the visitors, because it sounds a little, like we're coming from outer space, but also because, some people, when they travel, they're very touristy and they only focus on the very popular touristy spots. Some people,
there's obviously nothing wrong with that.
Some people when they travel are like, I am a traveler and I only do the things that are like,
I need to go to the Statue of Liberty. This is where I need to go.
Well, I mean, but that's the tourist, and then the traveler are the ones who are like, I will not do any touristy things because I want the authentic experience. And we're like, we're visitors. We want both. We want the authentic. Yeah. We want to go to the Statue of Liberty. We did not go the last time we were in New York because the line was too long.
Well, because all the travelers want to go there.
Right. All the tourists want to go there. Yeah. So we like to say that we're the visitors, because we like to do the things that when you have visitors come from out of town, the things that they do, because you're gonna take them, in Chicago, it's like, yeah, you're going to go to Sears Tower, you're going to go to the Bean, but then we also want to take you to like this cool little restaurant in the hipster neighborhood near us.
Why not? Absolutely, because that's
Right.
where the fun is.
Exactly.
All right.
As well as the like random weird quirky things.
That was my next question. All right. What's the weirdest place you guys or museum that you guys been to that's like you're like, man, this is cool, but it's weird?
I don't know.
Off the top of my head, the first thing that comes to my mind is the Vacuum Museum in Portland.
Like as in vacuum cleaner.
As in vacuum cleaners. It was a vacuum store.
Yeah.
That in the back they had a museum.
No way.
From the early vacuum cleaners all the way up to more modern vacuum cleaners.
That's pretty cool.
I'm trying to think. One cool thing, we stayed on a goat farm in New England.
So wait, you guys stayed in an actual goat farm?
Yeah, so it was
Norwich, Connecticut.
Yeah, it's or just outside of Norwich.
Or just outside, yeah.
Home of the sea unicorns?
It was a farm.
Connecticut Tigers then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah, so it was a farmhouse that was built in like the 18th century.
What?
And they'd converted it into it was now a goat farm that was owned and operated by this guys in like their 40s or 50s who were like, I'm leaving the corporate world to operate a goat farm. And then
that's such an extreme, like going from corporate to goat farm.
Yeah.
So they like rented out the rooms. There were 2 rooms they rented out. So we're like, yeah, we definitely need to stay at the goat farm.
And they gave us a tour. Gave us a tour. We actually got to milk a goat.
Well,
yeah.
I got to put because it was an automated milker.
It's an automated. Okay, those.
I got to put the little suction thing on the goat.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, not a lot of people get to say they've actually, helped out in the process of milking a goat.
Yeah. And so we just got to walk around and see all the goats, and then after the game, we just sat out with them and just hung out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
So.
That's awesome. I love it. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now, I think you were the one who told me about the Spam Museum.
Yes.
I am a fan of Spam. Okay. You guys out there, don't hate on me. Okay. I love it. It's an island thing. All right. I think it's delicious. Have you been there?
Yes. We were there in 2014, but it's since been renovated.
So we need to go back.
Well, obviously.
And the funny thing is, Patton Oswalt, who's probably my favorite comedian, he discovered it before we went. That's I think actually how we found out about it. And he was talking about how they probably hate the Monty Python because of the whole Spam sketch. They totally embrace it.
That's cool.
In 2014, so can't say about now, but they had a whole display of like the restaurant, and they had the whole skit playing on
a loop.
See, that's cool because they want him. You make fun of yourself at the same time, right?
Right.
Why not? I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. They definitely embraced the campiness.
Yeah,
definitely need to go back.
Yeah, you definitely should. Because Spam is delicious. Like I said, don't hate on me, guys. Please don't. So what's on your trip for the next time? Where are you guys planning on going?
Actually, our road trip starts on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
It will be our first that isn't focused on MLB or MILB. So the road trips have always been focused mostly on MILB. So it's like, I obviously am a fan of MLB and then got into MILB and then try to get into independence in the like 2004 when Chicago started getting independent teams. But the problem I have with independence is just the stability isn't there. So teams can come and go. Thankfully, that's not really the case much anymore. And
a lot more stability.
Yeah. And then like 4 years ago, I started getting more into collegiate league.
I'm with you there.
So this trip is going to be mostly Northwoods League teams.
Now we're talking. Because I'm a fan of the Northwoods League.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Huge fan.
great league.
All right. So what teams you're going to go visit?
So we'll see the Madison Mallards.
They have a cool rebrand, brand new one. Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
The Wisconsin Woodchucks
Awesome name.
up in Wausau, which we've only been to Wausau in the winter, so it'll be nice to see it when it's not -2 degrees out.
You're freezing. You just can't barely walk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We'll see the Wisconsin Rapids Rafters,
Mm-hmm.
the Eau Claire Express, the Lacrosse Loggers, Mankato Moondogs, and then the Waterloo Bucks.
Yep.
So that'll be the Northwoods, and then we're also going to see the Sioux Falls Canaries and the Sioux City Explorers.
Nice.
And then we're actually going to end unaffiliated with the Quad City River Bandits.
That's a cool one. I have their the one with the ball and the bandana.
Yeah.
The bandits. That's a cool logo. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's very cool because I am a fan of the Northwoods League. I love their app, where you can watch all their games for free, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm very jealous because I really would like to go see the Mallards and then the Kalamazoo Growlers. Those are like my two teams right there that I love to watch. So
hoping to do the Growlers and the Battle Creek Bombers next summer.
Yeah.
That's
the Bombers.
problem.
Yeah. It's just too many teams.
Yeah. And also, it's too many teams in Collegiate League is great, but you only really have 2 months.
Mhm.
2, maybe 2.5 if you can squeeze in some playoffs.
Right. Exactly. And then collegiate, obviously, the kids got to go back to school because of fall and all that stuff. So yeah, I love the Growlers just because like they have their alternate ones, which is the Mac Daddies,
right?
Which is mac and cheese. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, it's great. Teams that have fun with it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they did send me a message, because I didn't have a hat from them at all, and then they said, "Hey, you're a dad and you collect dad hats, and you don't have the total dad hat of the Mac Daddies." I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't. I'm gonna have to fix this issue."
Yeah.
They called me out, and I had to respond, and they were right. I didn't, so I bought the hat.
Yeah.
Mad respect to the Growlers for doing that. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Any minor league team out there that want to call me out, I'm just saying. Cool. So that's going to be your final trip for the year, or do you guys have anything else planned?
So that'll be the final road trip of the year, most likely. We usually try to go somewhere Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
But
we'll see.
We'll see. I was hoping to go and do see the Winnipeg Gold Eyes down in
the
Jackson,
Golden Eyes.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
But now that they're back in Winnipeg, it's like, well, there goes that. So we'll probably just end up doing teams in the Chicago area. You
got some new teams in there. A new team, the American Giants.
Yeah, that's actually Collegiate League.
Yeah, that's Collegiate League. Yeah, so
that's the Midwest Collegiate League, which so far the only one we've seen. There's 6 teams. They're all in the Chicago area.
They're all okay.
The only one we saw was so far were the Northwest Indiana Oilmen,
who play down the street from the Mascot Hall of Fame.
Yes.
What you've been there, right?
Oh, yes.
Of course you have.
We went in June.
Patrons of the place.
We went in June, but then we bought our tickets, walked in, I bought a cap, we did a loop around. It's a very, very tiny stadium. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a rain cloud came.
No.
And it poured down. As we're looking at the weather app says dry conditions will continue. And it just poured so much that it flooded the field.
Your app is wrong.
They totally wrong. Not the first time. But they ended up having to call the game because it was just completely flooded. So we actually finally got to go this past Saturday.
Awesome. All right, cool. All right. So here's what I want to do now. I want to do a little game, very famous, created by me. Not really. It's called This or That. All right. Rapid fire questions. Okay. Either of you can answer it, and we'll go from there. Sounds good?
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Beach or mountain?
Mountain.
Okay. Hogwarts or Middle Earth?
Hogwarts.
Good answer. All right. Cook a meal or clean up after?
Cook.
I guess cook a meal. Can it come from a box?
That doesn't matter as long as it's
Yeah.
you're putting it in a microwave or whatever. It's fine.
I can make mac and cheese.
You can
with
make a mean mac
sliced
and cheese.
avocado.
There it is.
Mhm.
Love it.
That is my gourmet meal.
That is a very gourmet meal. I usually do mac and cheese and hot dogs. So there you go. All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, unless it's in the afternoon, and then tea.
Okay. I'm not a coffee drinker. I'll never have. Like the smell, never drank coffee.
Yeah, same with me. I don't drink. I don't actually drink either, but I do like the smell of coffee.
See, that's right. I make my wife's coffee every morning. I love the smell. Tastes like it just tastes god awful.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about IPAs.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah. All right. Tacos or burritos?
Burritos.
Tacos.
Ooh, we have a fight here. I love it. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes.
Okay. Theme park or water park?
Theme park.
Theme park.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
I was a night owl until I got older.
Isn't it true though?
Yeah. Now I'm an early bird because I usually wake up at 5:30 in the morning.
Same here. By 10 o'clock, I'm like, babe, I love you. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
You can stay up if you want to, but I'm going to bed.
I miss staying up until 2:00 in the morning.
Oh,
I can stay up until 2:00 in the morning. That just means I'm not getting up until like 11 o'clock the next day.
no, there's no way I'm staying up that late. I get angry. No, we don't do that. Deep dish or New York style?
I have a totally hipster answer on this, and that is
here we go.
Neapolitan style.
Oh, okay.
Well, so I've said that for years, like ever since the whole like New York Chicago pizza debates became a thing.
Yeah.
I started saying Neapolitan style, and then when we were at the pizza museum a couple of years ago, I learned that
Of course, there's a museum for pizza. Of course, there is a museum for pizza.
Course. But I learned that Neapolitan style is actually the like original pizza style that came over to the US. Like all of the America's pizza is based off of Neapolitan. And so I didn't realize I was being a total hipster. I thought I was just being goofy.
Nope.
But I actually was.
There it is. Halloween or 4th of July?
Halloween.
You guys dress up?
Try to.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
Most of our friends aren't really into Halloween, which is unfortunate.
I dress up.
But we
have fun with
totally love it. Yeah, we totally love it. And now that we own a house, it's like I want to go crazy with decorating.
Yeah. Listen,
Mhm.
I enjoy dressing up for Halloween.
Yeah.
As an adult, that's like really the only time you're like allowed to dress up,
Yeah,
know,
the
without
only
people
time
really judging you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I have a great costume idea this year, which I did last year, but couldn't go anywhere with it. And I really hope someone throws a party so I can wear it.
I like it. You're gonna have to post some pictures because I mean, come on, I might have to even dress up this year because I think even if I have to stay here with my daughter, I will dress up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll probably put it on again.
Yes. All right. So breakfast or dinner?
It depends
Brunch?
on what it is.
Brunch. Okay. I don't see this as my answer on my notebook, but I will allow it. All right. All right. Let's see here. Pool or ocean?
Probably ocean.
Yeah. I'm an island boy, so I have to say ocean. So
Yeah.
all right. So you're at the ballpark. What is your go-to snack at the ballpark?
A snack for me, it's pretzel.
Snack? Popcorn.
I do sunflower seeds.
Unless it's a ballpark that has fresh roasted almonds.
She loves fresh roasted almonds.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's a question off of this. You're at the Mariners ballpark. Do you eat the grasshopper?
No.
That's like, no, I do not care.
No,
I'm
I
not
don't
doing
eat
it.
shellfish. So I don't eat anything in that realm.
Anything that has a shell, I'm not doing it. No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. So, since the Olympics are going on right now, if you were to be an Olympic athlete, what would be your sport?
For me, it would be a runner. I don't know. Probably more long distance.
You promise you won't judge me?
I will not. Yes, I will.
Ice dancing or synchronized swimming in the Olympics?
Yeah, but you know what though? Like, I mean, ice dancing is no joke. Listen, I get nauseous just looking at them when they're doing their turns. So yeah, I'm good. You know, the sport that I would choose was actually in the Winter Olympics would be curling. So there you go.
Yeah, I've never curled, but I would definitely like to try.
Neither have I, but I feel like I have a shot. I mean, have you seen the most recent men's USA team?
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. All right. I think I have a shot. All right. So last question. Excuse me. All right. Who is your favorite Disney princess? It's a tough one. I know.
I mean,
I
it's probably The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but I would prefer, we recently had a conversation with some friends. My favorite Disney animated movies, I should say before the like late 80s, early 90s ones, were Sword in the Stone and Robin Hood.
Wow. Okay. So you went back to early Disney movies there. I like it.
Yeah, I loved those. And well, before the ones that like the late 80s, early 90s ones that were huge that I saw in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have a soft spot for
no, I'm with you. I'm starting to see a lot of Disney movies now. Trust me. You know, Moana, it's a constant one here, and so it's Frozen. Because my daughter wants to watch them every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, she takes a bath and we need to listen to the Moana soundtrack every day.
You're not the first person to tell us that.
No, so,
and I'm sure you won't be the last.
Oh no, I will not be the last to tell you this. So, all right. So where can everybody find you on social media, things like that? Where can they find you?
Well, she is horrible at social media.
I am terrible at social media.
The only thing of mine that is actually public is my Twitter.
Okay.
Which is at Kelebration, KELABRATION.
Didn't we come up with?
Yes.
Kelstina Visits. That's one we came up with. We haven't actually used it.
We talked before the pandemic. We were talking about starting our own travel.
Okay. All right. So just show your stuff on that specific Twitter account.
Yeah,
all the places you guys been and things like that.
Yeah, that specific. We have the domain for Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We just haven't done anything with it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, listen, this might be the year, or maybe starting a new year all fresh, new stuff.
As you know, it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of work. It really is. That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys for being part of this. This was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy it. I'm going to put a link to your Twitter account so that way everybody can follow you. And then until then, I'll see you guys around. Support the minor leagues, guys.
Right, great talking to you. Thanks.
I want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this episode of The Collector's Corner. Now, if you like what you're hearing, consider subscribing to this podcast so that way you never miss an episode. Also, I'm going to ask one favor. Just tell one person about this podcast, and then that's it. All right. Until next time, support the minor leagues, guys.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Data Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTommaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Learn more about Curve Brim Media at curvebrimmedia.com.